Hey guys, Mooney here. Just a very quick side note. The video is incredibly laggy and choppy. The audio is perfectly synced, but the entire footage is choppy and our faces look funny. So just know that I'm gonna figure out this issue, and I wanted to include the footage in here anyway because well, Will said that he was comfortable with his face being shown. So please forgive me, and I'll try to resolve the problem for the next episode. So yeah, thank you, and hope you enjoy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mooney Project Podcast. I'm here with my good friend William.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
So in today's episode 4, we are going to be talking about William's debate team and the future professions and how to actually be successful in life.
Yeah.
So, William, you wrote down some things about debate. Could you read some out?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
So, debate, I don't really like to glamorize it, but I don't try to make it look bad either. Debate is not what you think it is on TV. When you think of debate on TV, you think of people who are like sitting at a bench and they're like screaming at each other. You think of Ben Shapiro and he's literally like screaming at 300 words per minute. That's not what debate is.
Yeah.
Debate is just trying to convince a judge that you are right. You're not trying to convince the enemy that you're right. So
It's like polite roasting.
yeah, polite roasting, and you're trying to roast the enemy into making the judge think that they look bad and you look better than them and you're correct, right?
Mhm.
So it really just trains you to be more of a car salesman than like a political writer or something like that. Not saying that debaters don't become political writers. That's basically the gist of debate.
How many times have you been in a debate session? It's sort of, with a bunch of people around you and then you're talking about one specific thing.
More than I can remember. I have this 100-page book here. It's full of all my debates. This is basically what a single debate looks like.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
actually
insane.
insane. You take this stuff seriously, huh? Don't you?
Yeah, I take it pretty seriously. I started when I was pretty young.
Uh-huh.
My mom just told me that I should probably focus more on this than actual like going ahead. Like people take AP 11, people take IB. I'll talk about that when we talk about school professions and
Uh-huh.
such. But basically, she just told me
Yeah.
to specialize in this, and now I'm really starting to put my head in the game.
So, if you were to would you join another debate club again next year? Cuz I know you did it last year. I know like everybody knew you for that. Would you be doing it for continue on already up to grade 12, or would you stop and think about doing something else?
Yeah, that's a great question, Gino.
Uh-huh.
Last year, that's right, I did join a debate
Yeah,
club.
you did. Everybody knew you from debate.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I joined debate club this year. I had a lot more success.
Uh-huh.
I could talk about that later. I do actually plan to carry on debating, though I will be moving. I'll also talk about that later. Jesus, we have so much to talk about.
It's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
That school doesn't actually have a debate team, so I will probably have to grab one of my friends to start one if I do want to carry it on in school. But really, all the debate stuff happens outside of school. Like all the big tournaments, like Harvard, Stanford. Sorry,
Yeah.
they all happen outside.
So they don't happen at school all the time.
Yeah,
Or, yeah. You do it at other places as well, right?
yeah. Our school isn't, let's say, the most interested. We literally only have like one teacher that watches us, and he doesn't even teach. He's a student teaches us. So basically, we're pretty neglected. Only like 5 people show up. So yeah.
I mean, are you the best one out of your entire debate group, or are there like more, I guess, more engaged people? Because I never found myself to be a part of the debate group. Like every time I try to say my opinion, I might as well just like I just don't say anything. I'm not that more of like a independent speaker. But I think for you, you're more comfortable with it, right?
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. Last year that could have been the case. I think I came in with a lot of potential, but I'd
Hmm.
say that the new grade eights this year who joined, they have a lot more potential than I do. Do you know Max Chen?
Oh no, 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 not
Oh,
yet.
you don't know Max Chen. I'm pretty sure he went to the same elementary school as you did. Yeah, he came in with a lot of potential. He won awards at Harvard. There's
Really?
this, yeah, he
Wow,
did. He
that's
did.
insane.
Um, then there's this girl called Sophie Jiang. She also joined. She came from China. She actually went to Harvard and Stanford this year with me. She made it to the quarterfinals or something like that. So she's also pretty insane. Yeah, a lot of potential, a lot of new faces.
Would you would you think would you claim yourself as a good speaker during a debate? Do you think you have? Are you confident enough that you can call yourself professional at it, or you can become professional at it?
Uh, that's a tough question.
Yeah,
I
because most people, like confidence is key, right? That's what everybody says. But when it comes to speaking out about your own opinions, are you confident enough that people will understand you and want to listen to you, or does it seem like a bit?
off. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it. Um, I could talk way more about that second part of the question in talking about school and stuff because I actually am. You've heard me say this in class, personally, but I personally label myself as a pretty low EQ person, and people do
Yeah,
label me as that. I'm not a very good speaker. I'm not very good at persuading. Now, when it comes to like arguing against, oh heck yeah, I can definitely argue against a person,
definitely.
and I love doing that professionally and unprofessionally. I love doing it in class sometimes. I like
Hmm.
disagreeing with people without without actually
Respectfully,
like yeah
respectfully.
respectfully, without actually like drawing blood by like sucker
Yeah,
punching him in the face. Um, but I also do it professionally in terms of yes, I go outside of school and go to actual tournaments. I went to Harvard, I went to Stanford twice now. Oh God, and Yale and Georgetown. Yeah, just gotta flex.
I gotta flex on how many places you've been to.
Yeah,
Um, so you wouldn't call yourself. You're not really good. You don't have a really high EQ, emotional quotient. No.
yeah, emotional quotient.
Yeah. But I've seen your writing and I've seen the way you speak. It is very, very articulate. I think you're one of the smartest people I know.
Well,
Incredibly.
yeah, thanks, Gino. Here's the thing. I have this essays folder, which
Hmm.
probably has I have no clue. Probably like 60 essays in it, and
Uh huh.
a lot of them are not even my like no, like they're not assignments. I write them by myself. But just because I write these essays does not mean that I'm really, you know, inept. I'm actually pretty weak socially. That's why I usually stay alone in school and I don't know,
Mm,
maybe a lot of your viewers don't even know who I am. That's the thing, right?
yeah.
Uh so even if I might be articulate and smart, that doesn't really mean that I'm successful. And I'd love to talk about success as soon as you call it, actually. But when it comes to that, it's really debating will not always lead you to that point of success. What it will lead you to do, though, is get you interested in a lot of different topics in the world. You get educated
Exactly.
all over the world. That's why I'm a huge social studies nerd,
Right.
right? Like I just love learning about the world. I love like perceiving this great theater in a way that no one has ever done before. That's basically debate.
So how far do you think you're gonna get if, let's say, you do move schools, right? And then you did debate for 2 years, and then when you get the opportunity to do debate again, where do you think that's gonna take you? Where do you think that's gonna get you in your life?
Where's debate going to take me?
Yeah,
Hmm.
unless you have other hobbies and things you want to pursue. I mean, trust me, I have multiple ideas of what I want to do when I get older. I don't even know if I can even settle on one yet. So, do you think this will get you far enough, or is there something else you want to do?
Well, I'd say that the main goal I want to do, like my whole purpose, like my number one goal would be, fly out of Canada,
Uh
be
huh.
a government worker, work abroad. I don't know,
Yeah.
work in France, right? Uh, so I'd say that debate, what it does, it just opens me up to a lot of interaction. You know,
Mm,
you're ready to stand up for yourself and like and fight. I view my words as weapons. Some people
mm. That's
use
good. That's really good. Yeah.
as as a way to heal people. You know, I that's one of the reasons why I'm pretty socially inept, because like usually I'm very skeptical about things. I'm very suspicious about like like the ways that people the ways that people talk. So that's
Yeah.
not a good thing. I'll tell you that that's a pretty bad thing. I'm pretty conscious about my problems. You know,
Hmm.
what I think that this is going to lead me though. Hopefully, I can land myself in UBC. That's all I can say
Everybody
in the
wants to
short
go to
term.
UBC.
Yeah, hell yeah, everyone wants to go to
Yeah, that's
UBC.
that's literally like the number one priority that's all in our minds. Like, doesn't matter what course we take, we just want to go to university, make it as far as we can. So in university they have a debate team in university, right? Or is there some sort of course related to public speaking?
Both actually. There's this thing called the UBC Debate Society.
Mm-hmm.
They run tournaments at UBC. I've been to two tournaments at UBC.
Wow.
That's not a bit. That's not that big of a deal. Don't worry. um, and then they also have stuff like rhetoric and public speaking, I believe. And then there's political science, international relations, all that stuff.
um would you be a public speaker? Oh, by the way, in our English class, we watched a movie on Helen Keller, the girl that was born blind and deaf. And as our teacher was talking about her, she said that Helen Keller became a public speaker. So would you want to become a public speaker when you get older, or like a motivational speaker that you'd see on like the internet, or would stand up in front of a huge crowd and you know
Uh,
it's pretty
I
easy to.
Yeah, it's not hard to speak in public. I've done
Definitely.
that a few times at my school, actually. That was the
Uh
first
huh.
time I've spoken to a large crowd. Speaking to large crowds is not that hard as long as you know what you're gonna
Yeah, if you
say.
know what you're talking about, then you're engaged in it. Yeah.
Motivational speaking is something it's a relatively new concept to me, so I'd say that it's something not something that I'm not really like engaged in. I mean,
Definitely.
I'm giving it a try right now. My cadet corps offers something called effective speaking, and that basically
Oh.
teaches you how to write like motivational speeches, and then they use it in competitions. You have to like articulate and you move your arms around and all that stuff. Um,
Yeah, because
yeah,
you
so
gotta like engage the audience in what you're talking about, right?
yeah,
Using.
yeah, totally, Gino.
Yeah.
You motivational I'll just say this, motivational speaking is definitely much harder than persuasive speaking, because for
Oh yeah.
persuasive speaking all you need to do is write an essay and then you just say it, you just say
Definitely.
the essay. For motivational speaking you have to like look into your audience's desire, like
Yeah.
what they want, and then you need to push a story to make them believe in it, a narrative.
Exactly.
It's definitely a much more hard thing to do.
More motivational speakers are uh a bit more popular than persuasive speakers, because most people in the world who do listen to them are interested in having themselves, believe in what the speaker is saying. Because I think as us, all of us in general, we all want to hear something that interests us more so than persuading us to like something.
Yeah, it's totally true. um persuading is really just
Yeah.
persuading is always going to be a more confrontational thing. You always want to fight. You want persuading, it's either one-sided, so there's only going to be one persuader, or there's
Mm.
going to be two persuaders, which is basically debate, in its at its core, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, motivational speaking is just a totally different. It's a ball game. It's something more akin to being an actual leader.
Uh huh. For when you debate, what are some of the topics that you and the opposite or opposing side talk about? What are the do you have some of the list of the things that you guys been talking about before?
Oh yeah, they go from they go from really serious like and like boring in my
Uh
opinion,
huh.
like talking about like I don't know, the Constitution, which is basically this magical piece of paper in Canada that like says, "Oh, this is illegal, that's illegal," right? And you
Mm-hmm.
have to argue about the tiny little tidbits and what it's going to lead to.
Uh
And then
huh.
we've had straight up ridiculous topics like as a fire, we would rather burn down a house than a forest. Like you're trying to say that
What?
as a fire, you would rather burn down a city or just an entire ecosystem. And there's like
A
tons of
ci-
ways you can
a
argue that way.
city. I think you'd
Yeah,
rather burn
city.
down a city.
You'd rather burn down a city
Yeah,
than an
because
entire
if
forest.
you burn down the ecosystem, that lowers literally the amount of us living than the city.
Yeah, but at the same time, can't you just replant the trees? Yeah, this is exactly where we go
Yeah,
into like
yeah.
arguments against and arguments for. I mean, I've done both sides of that debate actually. It was pretty. I did it as a final in one of my UBC summer.
Uh
It was pretty whack, honestly. Like
huh.
we were literally talking about like, oh yes, thousands of people will die, and there's gonna be suffering near and far. As whereas forests can regrow, and then like our enemy team was like, but pollution, and then they win.
But then again, like we already have forest fires like almost every year. Like almost every year, there's always at least a whole forest being burned down, either by accident or on purpose. So
Yeah,
I guess burning down the city, don't.
yeah. I guess you could rebuild.
Yeah, it's sort of different like that. Um, on the sheet that you wrote for this podcast, what other themes did you write about on it, if you could?
What themes did I write about?
Yeah.
I talked about speaking. I talked
Mm-hmm.
about joining debate. I talked about like my other my other activities that I do at school,
Uh huh.
where I plan to move and what's my plan and how to actually be successful. Yeah,
Um, let's talk about how to become successful, because you did most of the research and I I haven't done anything yet. I only get like most of my research from my parents.
yeah. That's totally fair, man.
Yeah, it's definitely fair. Parents literally just tell you, do your homework, study every day. Um, don't get too comfortable, and once you get good marks, you'll make it and you'll get a job. That's literally it. That's all I know. What did you write?
Yeah, that's a totally fair saying. I mean, it's not that far fetched.
Definitely, yeah.
Um, I I could tell you what I'm doing. Actually, I'll save that for last. Yeah, sure. I'll talk about what I wrote down, but this is
Sure.
it's quite long, so
It's
you'll
okay.
probably yeah, you can yeah, feel
It's
free to cut in.
it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, the first method to success. By the way, I'm not all of the things I'm saying like for a lot of them I'm not even doing. I just know this from
Mhm.
experience. I ask people, I look back and think about it.
Mhm.
So step one would probably be show up to school early. Now this
Obviously.
is yeah,
Yeah.
this sounds pretty run of the mill, pretty stock, but you always want to show up to school early. You want to be able to get your head in the game, and also you want to be able to impress your teachers. You want to be able to you need to adapt to your teachers in whatever way possible. Now some teachers will be like, "Oh, I don't pick favorites." That's bullshit. You don't want to listen to like everything they say. You
Yeah.
you you can easily tell if I went to Miss Ross's class. By the way, that's our English
That's our
teacher,
English
and I
teacher.
knocked down her fan, and I
Yeah.
trash her desk. Of course, she's gonna hate me. She's gonna hate everything about me. But if I consistently raise my hand, and if I consistently give her interesting answers for her to like
Then
talk
she'll
about
like sort of a little bit favorite you.
favoritism, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, have I've in all my years of being in school, I've all the teachers say the same thing. I don't pick favorites. No one's favorite in this class. All of you have different levels, and all of you are all different, and all of you are never on the same type of level as one another. But you can kind of tell sometimes when there are favorites in the class. Obviously, the one student gets called on more, or one student always like asks the questions or answers them. So it can either be called a teacher's pet or it is just a favorite.
Yeah, that's a great point. But the way that I connect these two is just saying that showing up to school early and staying a little bit late sometimes will always maximize the surface area, like the amount of like time frame, the amount of time you get to actually, you know, interact with your teacher in that way and get her to like you, him or her to like you um more. Yeah, that's my
Well,
first step.
yeah. I mean, my parents always told me if you want to, become if you want to be noticed more and you want to get, better marks, it's to, do your homework and hand stuff in right away, because I think that also boosts the chances of you getting good marks and then also being liked by the teacher.
Right. But then there's this second part, and it's actually kind of goes against what I said first. And it's, you should consider yourself responsible as a person that you need to help. So
Mm-hmm.
basically what that means is that you need to treat yourself. You know the saying, treat others the way people want
Yeah,
to
treat
treat you,
others the way
right?
you want to be. I think that
Treated
was
yourself.
called.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think that
kind
was
of,
called the golden rule back in
the
grade
golden
three.
rule. Yeah,
Yeah,
I kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
butchered it. Yeah, but you want to take the opposite of that as well. You also want to treat yourself the way that you treat others. You
Yeah.
want to make sure that you love yourself. I'll admit I'm not the greatest at this rule. I slept pretty late yesterday. uh, yeah. You want to make sure that you give yourself some love. Yeah. Don't stop fighting, and take breaks sometimes.
Obviously, yeah. We're
Yeah.
all humans here. We all have times where we need to take a break and need to sort of reflect on what's going on for a bit and then get back to work. So.
Yeah. Totally. The third rule would probably be, keep your head in the game in class.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, pay attention. Yeah, that is
pay
one of the
attention.
biggest things. Yeah, pay attention.
This does two things. One, it goes back to rule one, and people are like, your teacher is like, "Wow, this person's paying attention.
Definitely,
I'll give you a good working habit, right?" And that's
definitely.
that's the trend I've been seeing all of this time. I've never gotten an S or N on my interim reports. Just a little bit of a flex. Yeah.
Oh my
Uh,
god, that hurt because I get N's sometimes and
you get
S's
N
too.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
You get butchered by your teachers, yeah. I get it.
Um,
Um, just keep your head in the game. That's
mhm,
the stock rule. It doesn't matter what your teacher's like. If your teacher's hostile, she's very positive, she wants you to like loosen up, you still got to
mhm,
keep your head in the game. I've had great teachers, I've had horrible teachers. You want to just adhere and be respectful to your teachers at all times. These
mhm.
are the people who will be writing your college apps. They're going to be recommending you to go to colleges. The like college admins will be reading these. So you want to make sure you leave a lasting good impression.
Even if like the teacher is like strict, like really strict in the class, at least show the amount of respect that you would expect after you like graduate from high school. Instead of people going up to you and saying, "Congratulations, good job," they're saying you're lucky, or you. This is just like the first step, and they don't really congratulate you because of how you acted back in the class.
Right. Um, the next rule, I would say, you want to keep your head in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you also want to make sure that you end up engaging elsewhere. You should note that all of this, all this stuff about college apps, they don't actually apply until grade 10, I believe. They only look at your marks from grade 11, grade 12. Maybe they'll check grade 10, right?
Uh huh.
That's only a maybe. I got this advice from my cousin.
Oh.
But what you want to do in grade 8 and 9 is you want to adapt to a working habit that works for you. I
And then
failed
you.
at
Oh
this.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I usually do all my homework and just like I just take a deep gulp of water and I just do all my homework there, and then I take another gulp of water. Um, so I do it all in very short amounts of time, and then I have free time from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm a little bit more busy. I bring my computer to school, finish homework in school. That's not a
Mm-hmm.
good habit to do, by the way. Um, yeah, so you got to make sure that you use your grade 8 and 9 years well. I think I'm using
Definitely.
my grade 9 year well. I think I was pretty much fucking around in grade 8. I didn't know what I was doing.
I mean, from this point on, from grade 8 to grade 9 that we're in right now, and then until grade 12, these 2 years that we got is practically free time compared to the next 3 years that we got.
Yeah, man.
This is like level 1, and then and then like on the next 3 levels, it's completely different. So
You're jumping. It's a high jump, man. You gotta get
yeah,
ready. I braced myself during this summer.
definitely. If you're not gonna like, if your working habits right now are either worse than last year or are the same level as last year, don't expect yourself to be getting A's, B's multiple times next year on each term, 3 terms. Doubt it. Maybe like 2 A's in the first beginning, and then the working habit that you had last year, it affects your mark. And then again, that goes back to your rules. You're no longer favorited by or not favored, but you're no longer liked by your teachers, and you have a lower chance of scoring good marks in the future because of your working behavior in the classroom.
You're totally correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my 4th rule. My 5th rule: you need to figure out what you want to do early on. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a little bit about myself at this point. I should have done that actually.
No, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I have this habit of jumping around. My first elementary school I went to was James McKinney. It's this school that's basically like breathing on Steveston, London. It's right next to Steveston, London, right?
Yeah.
My cousin, but I live pretty far away from it. So my cousin, they're actually right next door. Hi. They went to this school called Arrington. It's really close.
Oh,
It's
I know
about-
Arrington. Yeah.
Yeah, you know Arrington. It's
Yeah.
like about 500 meters away from where I am right now. So I
Uh-huh.
switched. I switched there. My catchment school was always Steveston, London.
Mhm.
But at this point, I didn't know what I was doing. Finally, right? In grade 7, there was 2 choices, all right? I could stay in Steveston, London and do this thing called Spectrum. It's basically like enriched learning from grade 8 to grade 10. Grade 8 to
Uh-huh.
grade 10, like a fast learning program, right? Or I could do IB, which was only available in Richmond High.
Oh, yeah,
Or-
right.
Yeah, I could do pre-IB and then IB. Pre-IB is only available in Hugh Boyd.
IB is like for like the smartest of the smart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're
Top-tier
an
level
ace-
smart person, yeah.
if you're an ace and you think you can like fight against people from like Brazil, Japan, China, India, right? Then go on right ahead. But that's not really the point. You have to figure out what you want to do really early on. And what I decided I wanted to do was do IB. And my mom was like, "Oh yes, but going to Richmond High early on, you get the teachers to like you, and now the teachers will like figure out who to recommend to IB and like encourage and give good grades, right?" So that was my plan for grade 8, up until very recently in grade 9. Then I realized something. Debate tournaments become so much harder when you become older.
Definitely.
Grade 10, grade 11, grade 12. You advance to this division called varsity, and I'm in something called junior varsity right now. And the people who are in varsity are like U.S. national champions and
Exactly.
and that stuff. It's difficult competition. If you want to keep going on, you gotta put a lot of effort into that activity. And what my mom and I very recently discussed was we want to figure out what we want to do. We've got to figure out whether or not we want to choose debate and move to Steveston, London, which does not provide IB, but also provides AP, and all my friends are there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we stay in Richmond High, do IB, quit debate. And I chose, well, I want to follow my passions, and my friend also wants to follow his passions. So we chose debate. We chose Steveston, London. So yeah, we will probably be moving.
Wow. You're gonna move to Steveston, London?
Yeah, I will. I'll probably talk more about that in the stuff I've done, but yeah, you just gotta make sure you don't make this mistake that I did. Figure out what you want really early on. Maybe you can. I mean, it's kind of late for both of us. I mean, maybe you can show this to your kids or something like that.
I mean, well, my parents, and this is different for any family in the world. My parents have already established what they want me to do. Like, after I told them I don't know what I want to be, because not everybody can make their own decision for themselves. I told my parents, hey, I don't got any ideas of what I want to do in the future, they tell me they want me to work in the medical field. So yeah, I know. So practically they want me to become a physiotherapist like my mom. So
Yeah.
if you can't figure out what you want to do in your life yet, don't worry, because I'm in grade 9. Will and I are in grade 9, and I've already figured out what I want to do. Will, what do you want to do?
Travel abroad, learn French, be a diplomat.
Oh, you want to get into politics?
That's not really politics. It's just showing up to other countries and saying hi and living
Mm-hmm.
in an embassy or consulate. I have two more rules.
Oh, go ahead.
What rule am I on? I'm on rule 7.
6,
Six, six,
I
seven?
think.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
Do not. This is related to rule 2, which is keep your head in the game. Do not get crushes. Do not do that. That's a I made this mistake twice. All right. Okay, and I'll go into depth about why this is a horrible decision.
Yeah.
It keeps your head out of the game because like you're focused on on another person that you can't even have a very in-depth relationship with. And
If you're already in grade 9, why would you need to worry about it
yeah,
anyway?
exactly. And
Yeah.
second of all, you get too interested in this stuff. You get obsessed, and you might not even be successful. And even if it's successful, even if when you ask them out, it's successful, two things. One, you're in grade 8, you're in grade 9. What kind of depth in relationship are you going to get? Like the dates I saw in grade 8 were literally showing up to math class, and you would be like, hi, and then you'd help each other do math, say bye, and that's the end of the date.
That's it,
the literal
literally.
depth. That's the depth of a date. There's no purpose in trying to figure that out unless you want to get some sort of like practical purpose. You know Emre, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. At least he has a practical reason. Like Junie is he's been pretty public about it, so I'm not very afraid to say it out loud. Junie has actually helped him out with homework, and Junie's actually been a very helpful person. So props to him, I guess.
And plus, Emery's already smart himself. Like,
Yeah.
he's a good student already, and I think that he can not get away with it, but like this can slide with him. But in cases where you already have a relationship in grade 9, I don't think that's gonna help you out in the long run.
Yeah. Secondly, your friends will not shut up about it if they know.
Facts, bro.
That they will not shut up. My friend, oh, you know George, right? Yeah, he was the guy who used to be your friend in first. He's been bugging me all night about like, well, you know who, but
Yeah.
it's not a big deal, right? And it's just so it just gets your nerves up, and then you focus on that instead of focusing on the
actual
work that you need
to do. Exactly.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. It's such a waste of time that I usually like to just let it drop. Like if you make one, just let it drop. Unless you can get an actual like sustainable relationship thingy, right? Then you can carry on. But apart from that, drop it. Just don't.
Forget about for now.
Yeah, I've had 2. One failed miserably, and I'm only starting to like recover from like right now. And the second one I have to drop. Like I'm moving.
Yeah.
It's just not sustainable. I cannot do that.
Again, this goes back to the fact on how grade 8 and 9 are the easiest years compared to the next 3 that we got. And having 1 or 2 more distractions from your actual work affects it so much. So
that's totally right. Like
having stuff like this, don't think it's gonna get you into IB.
Yeah. And third, crushes and relationships for that matter will put a lot of hardship on your life. Like I've talked to so many people at like 1 a.m. about like their problems with like their relationships, and I'm like, just don't, dude. You're in grade 8. You're in grade 7. You go to a high end school. Why are you interested in these people when you could be studying and like bracing yourself from the giant like impact?
Yeah. Why be interested in somebody when you can be interested in something?
Yeah, and you're making your life harder for yourself. So you're making grade 8 and grade 9 hard, and then grade 10 comes crashing in, and it's like hard.
Yeah,
hard.
where are you gonna find the time to go on your date then, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
last one, yeah. Sorry, carry on.
But for most people, they can get relationships grade 11 or by the end of grade 10, but they are able to balance it out with their actual schoolwork life, right? But if you feel like, this goes out to everybody, if you feel like there's something bothering you and you know the source of the problem, but you don't really want to tell anybody about it, deal with it. Because, I mean, obviously, most people wouldn't want to admit that, oh, I'm in a relationship, my grades are low. I mean, it practically answers itself.
Right. All right, this is my last rule, and then I might spend a little bit of time saying that talking about what I've done. I'll
Hmm.
be a little bit more considerate about your time at this point on.
It's
Um,
okay.
don't get into substance abuse. Like, this is drugs, porn, alcohol. This is
Definitely.
really, really basic stuff. I will admit I have not drank alcohol. I will admit I have not taken drugs, LSD, marijuana,
We
or anything.
can't, dude. We
I can't.
can't.
How am I gonna get access to that
No,
stuff? Like,
we can't. I don't know how people do get access to it. It's
yeah.
most, yeah.
But the
How?
biggest problem, though, is definitely porn. Dude, porn is such a big deal. And this is speaking for personal issues. I've wrote essays about this. I've done research on my own. The average age of first exposure to porn is 11 years old. The first exposure is 11. I will openly admit that I've seen it before, and it's fucked up. Like, they purposely trap it so that 13-year-olds or 12-year-olds get exposure, and a lot of them don't even do anything about it. Do something about it and just don't watch it.
Yeah.
That stuff gets
And
into your
well,
brain so
again,
easily.
all of these things that you're listing down, even from step 3 or what was it, step 5?
Yeah,
I
step
think
5. It just
they
collapses.
all affect on your learning. Again,
That's so correct.
all the time.
You want to keep your head in the game. That's the
Again,
ultimate
yes.
goal. That's the ultimate goal. Rule two, right? So
Very simple.
what you end up doing if you abuse substances is all of this just goes to a head. You're so obsessed with doing this. You can't be happy unless you use these substances, right?
Exactly. You want to go to IB? Don't do them. You want to go to university? Don't do them. If you want to become, if you want to drop out of school and do random things with your friends, you can do them if you want. No one's gonna stop you.
Yeah.
I mean,
so true.
it's your choice. It's your life. It's your what you want to do. If you want to ruin it, go ahead. Like,
no one's stopping you. I mean,
yeah,
like,
no one's stopping you.
except for
Do whatever.
yourself.
Yeah, you
You're the only
need to
one stopping
decide
yourself.
on what you want to do. Again, every single step that you take from this grade or from this point in your life till when you want to get a job and get big money, it all depends on what you're doing now.
Right. Okay, let's talk about what I'm doing then.
Mhm. We can talk about this, and then
Yeah.
I'll be up. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I made this mistake. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm a jumper. I've jumped around schools 6 times. Nope. I'm bad at counting. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Moving to Stevenson, London will be my 5th.
Yeah.
And the whole reason why I moved to Richmond High was just to, do IB and meet new people.
Uh-huh.
This is the big problem. I feel like school, especially for me, is a really hostile environment. Like,
Obviously.
yeah. And this started from grade 8. I'll tell you this right now. Gino, the first time I met you in French, right? I
Uh-huh.
didn't know what the hell I was doing. I thought that you were going to be like a guy who was gonna like wedgie me. You seemed like that guy. You kept saying bogus and like all that stuff. So I didn't know what
Bogus.
the hell I was doing in class. I didn't know what the hell I was doing during lunch. No one to talk to, right? I should have known what I was doing in the
Definitely.
front. I should have known. And I should have like stuck with a very inner network of friends. I still have this problem today. I don't actually have an inner network of friends. I usually spend my lunches alone.
Discord.
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 Yeah, so that's what I've been doing for the recent. I've been spending a lot of my time alone, or at least with like Soma or something like that during lunch.
But you found your place in the school. You have.
What have I found?
Yeah,
I
I've seen
genuinely
it.
do not know.
You seem comfortable in the class. You seem comfortable in the English class that I have.
Well, that's class. That's class.
Yeah.
But then that's the thing. Classes are temporary.
Indeed.
Friendship,
Yeah.
friendship is not. and I don't really have that. So what I should have done was definitely found that network quickly, or at least moved to Ferris before I moved to Richmond High.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that's one of the things I've done. Moving to Stevenson, London was a really difficult choice, purely because my friend told me to, and they were like, "Dude, IB is gonna like suck your talents out." I don't regret that. I want to pursue the stuff I love.
Mm-hmm.
So I do I would not do IB, but then that just means I have to move to Stevenson, London, just because it's closer, and just because my friends are there, and just because like there's no purpose in driving half a kilometer
Yeah.
just to do a program that you don't even want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest mistake I definitely say was not knowing what I was doing, and what I have done. My second mistake would definitely be not keeping my head in the game. Like I've
Yeah.
developed crushes. That was a big
We've
mistake.
all we've all had problems in the past that,
Yeah,
cause something wrong to happen the next day. You know, and I think having crushes like that, will, like you explained, is one of the biggest ones too. Yeah.
yeah, that's a big problem, and I usually hope to solve these issues in the most direct way possible.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and apart from that, I don't really know what I'm doing in the future. Again, like I'm not so sure what the path is to become a higher end diplomat. So maybe I'll do international relations, maybe I'll do French, maybe I'll do political science or social studies. I have no clue what I'm doing. So yeah, that's definitely a thing that I'm gonna have to do in the future or do right now. Yeah, that's all I'm doing right now. Making
Well,
mistakes, moving past life.
that's great. Well, thank you so much, Will, for coming on my podcast. This is probably one of the most educational and motivating podcasts I've ever had. Thank you guys so much for listening. William, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you,
If
Gino.
you guys like to see and hear my podcast you can listen on YouTube, Anchor, and Spotify, at the Mooney Project, and I'll have more episodes to come. Thank you, Will, and
Thanks.
yeah,
Have me on.
I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace out. It's
Peace
Mooney.
out.